Hi, I'm Chris O'Connell, and welcome to Post-Production, where each episode will be taking a look at a film project done by some of the students here at LAU Post. I'm sitting here today with Mike Themistocleos, and we are going to be screening your film, The Wall, or Die Mauer in German. I learned how to say it now. Thanks for coming out for this. I'm really glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with the main topic of the film. It's all in German. All the dialogue is spoken in German. It takes place in Germany. Where did the incentive come to try to do something ambitious like that?
So about a year before we started talking about making the film in production lab, I had the idea, and I knew it was going to take place in West and East Berlin. I've been known for jumping the gun in film classes, so I figured what's better than making a film in German when it's more accurate to the time period in the film.
Sure. And okay, so you have this, you say, all right, I'm going to do something, a period piece, historically accurate. Where do the seeds of the story come from? What inspired you to tell that story specifically?
So there was this old Pakistani folklore about a man smuggling in elephants, and they don't know who's smuggling in elephants. And when I first came to Post, I was a history major, so I love the period, like the late 60s, early 70s of the Cold War, because it's like going into the unknown, because you look at World War I, World War II, we knew what was happening in a way. With Cold War, anything can happen at any moment. So I wanted to bring that story of the elephants to a modern period.
Well, it's very inventive. We're actually going to go now to watch the film itself, The Wall or Die Mauer.
Für die erste Zeit nach Jahre 1949, die Sozialdemokratische Partei ist heute die größte Partei im Amt, nach 242 von den 518 Sitzen gewonnen haben.
Ich mache es genauso sehr für dich als auch für die anderen.
Es wird erwartet, dass Willy Brandt wird wiedergewählt mit Walter Scheel als Vizekanzler und Außenminister. Das werden gute Neuigkeiten für die Menschen, die wünschen, den Ostengrenzen zu überqueren, weil die SDP haben Gesetzgebung zur leichteren Reise besprechen. Wir hoffen, mehr Informationen bald zu haben. Nächster, die USA haben mehr Truppen aus.
Hallo? Tasche. Papiere.
Josef Zierlich?
Ja,
Pole oder Deutsche?
Deutsche.
Sieht aus wie ein Pole. Mark. Danke.
Dankeschön.
Hallo? Madeleine?
Jo! War deine Reise gut?
Du bist jetzt vor kein Urlaub. Wo ist Ingrid?
Alles ist in Ordnung, sie kommt vielleicht später. Hast du es bekommen?
Ja.
Hast du über Brand gehört?
Ja. Endlich ein bisschen Hoffnung. Kannst du dies aufsehen?
Mhm.
Warum dauert es so lange?
Nicht brauchen Sie zu denken, dass wir Teil von der RAF.
Ich sage nur, dass wir es fertig bringen sollen. Wenn Sie einen Stein durch ein Fenster werfen, werden Sie verhaftet. Wenn Sie jedes Fenster in Berlin einschlagen, machen Sie einen Punkt.
Die Entschuldigung. Denn bei der Bank oder beim Mittagessen.
Dein Schatten?
Das ist alles.
Madeleine hat dich aus diesem Grund vorgeschlagen.
Ich werde Ihre Leute haben sehen. Mildos, ist es möglich, andere Passen von den anderen zu bekommen?
Ich werde es versuchen. Ich kann aber nichts versprechen. Bleiben Sie unter dem Radar. Vielen Dank, Josef.
Danke.
Stehen bleiben. Papiere. Tasche. Was ist das?
Es ist für Sie Training.
Zum Trainieren. 25 Mark.
Collective unconscious.
Wie war deine Reise?
Ich fragte, dass die Wagte verdächtig ist.
Hast du alles?
Ja. Es ist ziemlich groß. Wo willst du es pflanzen?
So hin ein bisschen südlich von Berlin Zentral, gegen den Wand.
Wie besiedelt ist das?
Abhängig von der Tageszeit. Da ist ein Café in der Nähe.
Für diese Effekte Kaffee danach?
Ja.
Für eine Nacht Triest?
Jo, die Leute sind genauso Teil unserer Botschaft, wie wir es sind.
Das ist mehr als ein größeren Bild.
Wir verstehen, worum es geht.
Ingrid.
Und du auch.
Ingrid!
Jo.
Ingrid!
Jo, kommen sehen. Jo, sollte es keinen Zweifel. Ich habe nicht genug durchgemacht. Nein, schau mich an! Wir sind gleich der Überlebende.
Marlene, ich will nur das Beste für dich.
Das Beste ist jetzt nur eine Erinnerung.
Halt, stehen bleiben. Was ist das? Was ist das? Erklär. Was? Ha! Halt mich für einen Idioten! Idiot! Verdammter Kerl auf dem Fahrrad und wir haben nichts gegen ihn. Wo will er da nur hin? Familie, Freunde? Zum Training, als wären wir Idioten. Wofür hat er denn den Sand, ha? Vielleicht will er das bauen damit. Dann lass uns das ganze Spiel nochmal durchgehen.
Er sollte schon vor 15 Minuten hier sein.
Er war wahrscheinlich in etwas gefangen.
Hast du heute überhaupt schon mit ihm gesprochen?
Ich habe mit Nils gesprochen. Es ist auf den Berg, gibt es eine Minute.
Eine Minute? Das ist so viel länger, als es scheint. Zehn. Dreißig. Eine Minute.
Dann überlasst du es uns.
Genau da, wo wir vorher waren.
Wir sind bereit für morgen. Er werde hier sein. Das verspreche ich. Er werde hier sein. Er werde hier sein.
Welcome back. I'm still sitting here with Mike the Mysticlaus, and we've just seen his film Demour the Wall. I'd just like to say, on a personal note, I did really enjoy the film.
Thank you very much.
I actually watched it several times through because I wanted to make sure I had experienced all of it and seen everything that you obviously took time to put into.
Oh, that means a lot. Thank you.
And speaking of what was put into it, no doubt concerns were raised, I'm sure, among your production staff and the staff here at Post about how practical it would be to shoot something like this. Were there people trying to talk you out of it or sway you in a different direction?
I mean, when it came to the production itself, there were just a lot of technical difficulties. We weren't sure about if we were able to film the scenes that take place at the Berlin Wall with the guard booth by the library, and we weren't sure if the location was good, if we were able to get it, because it's kind of, there's bricks, and like we filmed a bike trail over like a ledge, and so like we were worried about that. We were worried about getting the wall done in time. So yeah, there were a lot of questions raised.
But obviously it all came together in the end.
Yeah,
It might have been a last minute thing, but it worked out.
Most certainly a last minute thing.
Right. And all of it was in German. Again, I'd like to emphasize, because I was really impressed by that in the beginning. Were there German-speaking members of the cast, or did you have to have them learn the words phonetically, or?
So everyone in the cast spoke German. Most of them are from Germany, or one of them was from Russia, but she was raised in Germany.
Wow.
And the script was written in English, and we gave it to 2 translators to translate to German.
I did see you had script translators in the credits, so am I to assume that all of the German is spoken correctly in the film?
Yep. The main translator, she was born in Germany, and she was raised there, and then she moved here, and my mom worked with her, so I was able to meet her and
So
ask.
do you think this film would play well in Eastern Europe or Germany?
I would hope so. I know language-wise it would, but
Right.
film content-wise, I don't know.
Now, obviously, we've spoken before how it really, even you shooting in 2016, you were able to make it look very much like post-World War II Berlin, Cold War Berlin. And I was just wondering, in regard to the wall itself, was construction difficult? Did that pose a challenge? Was that the largest challenge of the shoot?
We thought it was going to be. Our production designer, Alan, he's credited as Escobar Diello in the film. He really put it, like, he came in one day with a bunch of designs, like blueprints for it. We went out to Home Depot, we bought all of the wood, and we spent, like, I'd say about a month and a half just in the studio, in the lab, the studio in Cannes, and we built the wall. Even over winter break, we all got together and we would just
Kept working
build.
on it.
And he made the film what it was. He made it like all the outfits were 70s. We went to the costume shop in the little theater. They helped put it together. So it was really a group effort, but Alan/Escobar really helped.
Sounds like you had a lot of really dedicated people in the crew who weren't just on a film shoot, they were hoping to make something. They seemed like they were really involved.
Yeah, definitely. We really got along well. I mean, there were always those tiny issues, but we moved past it, and it was definitely an experience putting it together with them.
Sure, absolutely. And as we've seen in the film, one of the locations that I enjoyed specifically was the pub that they went to, Zoom Stammtisch.
Yes.
I believe is how it's pronounced.
Correct.
Because the way that's introduced is you are sort of in houses and at the wall, and then you're out in the world. You see a pub, you see it's got German flags flying, and it kind of opens up the world to a larger. Is that what you were going for with that location?
Yeah, we originally we were filming at an Italian restaurant, and the day we were supposed to film, it foreclosed and they knocked the building down.
Perfect timing.
Exactly. So we freaked out. We drove to campus and filmed here, and it didn't look awful, but you can tell there was $0 put into this.
Sure.
So we took a month off, and we found our producer Walter Blum and our assistant director Stephen. They found this restaurant, and we just fell in love. We were able to put this film now in the real world.
Right. And so, going into the real world, was it difficult to maintain the time period in regard to cars coming through and world noise, city noise, background? Was that difficult to kind of keep out?
Very. There were certain scenes in there where he was kind of walking. They were filmed in Forest Hills and Queens, which are although the architecture was kind of old, everything's modern. So if one person walked by with a phone, it's time to reshoot. If one person like had a newspaper, we had to make sure it didn't
Right,
look
fit
new.
the time
Yeah.
period.
So it was extremely difficult to keep it 70s.
And regarding the audio on set, I was noticing, was it all recorded on location, or was it dubbed afterwards, or was there a mix of both?
There was a mix of both. It was mostly on set. Like the voiceovers were done afterwards, obviously,
Sure.
and there were certain sounds that were done in the studio, but most of it was on set.
Okay. And as you watch the final cut of the film, and maybe you didn't intend this in the beginning, but it came out later, were you trying to pay homage to any type of film genre or films that you had in mind?
Not really while making it. I mean, that might sound arrogant. I mean, I obviously have a lot of influences, but there was nothing like set in stone. I took a German class a couple years ago in a political revolution class with Professor Atkinson, and there was this one film, Bader Meinhof, and it was kind of going into German revolutionaries and stuff like that. So a lot of those films kind of rubbed off in there.
And it seemed to have sort of the bent of like a Cold War thriller of like you would see in like the 80s, like 3 Days of the Condor or something along those lines, where you have the meetings in restaurants and you have the exteriors at night. And I think that it was very well done and impressive in the way you were almost able to match that.
Thank you very much.
So in the end, when you watch that now and you think to yourself, what was the story you were trying to tell? What did you want the audience to take away from this?
Like a message, or?
Just maybe a feeling or something that new that they might not have known before, or something that you wanted them to take away from the film.
I mean, I guess I would hope that people would kind of look into the history of it, maybe. We tried giving as much as we can because I think history definitely connects to the world now, even though, like, I think America can connect to East and West Berlin in the 70s. Yeah, I think every film should just be more than, let me turn off my brain and watch it. So
Sure.
I don't know what the exact message would be. I hope people would be interested in.
Maybe that's more for the audience to figure out
Yeah,
what
definitely.
they need to take away from the film.
Yeah, it's completely up to them.
Definitely. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
I hope everybody was able to enjoy the film in the same way I did. And I hope you feel a little more enlightened now that we've heard from the director as well. So thank you for joining us.